Well, hello again, and welcome to another edition of the Speed Bag. Today, a little segment that I like to call, And So It Begins. Now, the UFC Women's Bantamweight title was still learning the contours of its new owner's waist this past weekend when already it seemed like we had our next fight lined up. Now, what makes sense after Miesha Tate's come-from-behind upset victory over Holly Holm at UFC 196? How about a third fight with former champion and old foe Ronda Rousey? Rousey's up for it, according to UFC President Dana White. He said that after Rousey learned that Tate had taken the belt off Holm, she texted White and said that it was time to, quote, get back to work, which, does seem a little weird because wouldn't the time to get back to work be when you thought you were going to fight Holm, who proved herself to be a better fighter in the first meeting? I mean, she did do that whole thing where she kicked you in the head, made you fall down and lose your title. Seems like there was some work that could have been done there. Whatever, not the point. Point is, Tate versus Rousey again? For the UFC Women's Bantamweight title again? Wasn't this the fight that the UFC was just telling us a few months ago nobody wanted to see? And that's why Holly Holm got that shot at Rousey in the first place, was because we were told no one wanted to see a third Tate-Rousey fight. And now that's all changed just because Tate is the one that has the belt? Does that make sense? Maybe not initially, but then you see Tate showing up on shows like TMZ Sports, questioning Rousey's state of mind, saying stuff like this. I don't even know what she's thinking right now. It seems like her motivation to stick around was to have Travis Brown's babies, so I don't know. That doesn't sound like a very motivated comeback kind of a fighter, in my opinion. Wait, what's that sound? Did you hear that? It almost sounded like shots fired. But see, this is just the beginning. These two can't help it. Theirs is a rivalry as old as the stars, assuming that the stars are like 4 years old. But in the context of women's MMA, that's actually kind of a long time. I mean, put it this way, Tate and Rousey have been going at it since before the UFC even had a women's division. You want somebody who's going to motivate Rousey to return from the land of catered lunches and big paychecks that you don't have to bleed for? You can't do much better than Tate. And for Tate, you want someone with whom she can actually generate some pre-fight heat and not just sitting there at the press conference, quote, making each other friendship bracelets. Rousey's the perfect choice. With Tate and Rousey, the UFC doesn't even have to spend much energy or time or money doing pre-fight promotion. All it really has to do is get out of the way. Just tell them when the fight is and then get ready for the almost constant throwing of shade back and forth. And how do I know that that's how it's going to go? I don't know. How about the fight hasn't even been announced yet, and already, as you see, it has begun.